I know what you guys are thinking. I know that you will be thinking that these two people will again start discussing about Dhoni and what should be his batting position. He should come top of the order at 4, 5. But no, today we won't go that way.
Because it's not like Dhoni is gonna listen to anyone. He'll do whatever he feels like. He'll come out to bat whenever he feels like. So it's better that we start discussing about someone who will give a headache to CSK.
Unlike the first two games where the oppositions were planning against Warner and Bairstow, because if you could get these two players out, you can almost get a hand on the match. Now it is not like that. With Kane Williamson coming, he will not look that destructive like other T20I batsmen, but he will pinch you and he will score those extra runs. He will chip the ball, he will nudge the ball in gaps, he will run hard, he will get those boundaries by placing the ball in between fielders, and at the end he will score those extra 25-30 runs, and somehow then SRH will look very very stronger. So against a player like this, even if you get out Warner and Bairstow, how do you plan, how do you keep this player in check?
Williamson does have a few small weaknesses. For example, if early on a pacer is brought on by Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and I think Hazelwood would be perfect for it if he can bowl a back of a length delivery which is a little wider of his off stump. Kane Williamson tends to play that ball a little away from his body and with an open face, which obviously gives the bowling team a chance of taking his wicket. Apart from that, though Kane Williamson is a very good player of spin, he has two weaknesses. One is to a leg spinner with when the length ball is just outside off but it's dipping. And in pitches like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, we have seen there are balls which stop a little and dip. That's where I think Piyush Chawla can use that plan against Kane Williamson. Just lure him into driving the ball, but throw a foolish delivery which is a little slower and a little dipping, so that it forces him to drive and then you can get him out. The third weakness that Kane Williamson has is to a left arm spinner, and Jadeja can bowl fast. So if Jadeja can bowl a faster back of the lengthish delivery which is closer to the stump, the ball looks cuttable but is actually not cuttable. And if Williamson is lured into cutting the ball, there is high chances that he is gonna chop it on to his stumps. These are the three things which I feel CSK should plan against Williamson.
Yes, I definitely agree. These can be some points which can be used by the CSK management to deal with Williamson. But one more thing I want to add is that this guy has to hit some boundaries in between, which he managed to do very cleverly against DC. And now if you can somehow cut those boundaries of Williamson, then he won't be able to hurt you as much by running those singles and twos. So don't give him boundaries at his will. You have to think ahead of him. And now by thinking ahead of him, we will also do that by sharing stories of some individuals which might inspire the future generation of cricketers on our very new segment, Stories That Matter.
An 18-year-old boy walked out in the middle for Sunrisers Hyderabad against Delhi. He was facing Nokia, who was bowling at 140 every single ball. He came, he hit a beautiful 6 above covers. Whom am I talking about? None other than the little wonder boy from Jammu and Kashmir, Abdul Samad. Irfan Pathan actually spotted Abdul Samad 2 years ago. In fact, Pathan and Milap spotted Samad when he was just 16 years old in 2008 at a trial in Jammu. When Pathan saw him, he was driving against the quicks beautifully. And that is when Pathan looked back into Samad's domestic scores, only to find out that he actually had no 50s. Pathan took him aside and told him that he would be there in the probables, but he has to work hard in preserving his wicket. It's not just about 6 hitting. He hit 36 sixes in the last Ranji Trophy season. And that is not all. His opponent, Piyush Chawla, I think knows a bit about him, because in a Vijay Hazare match, Piyush Chawla was smacked for 4 sixes by this little kid. His cameos of 29 of 10 balls against Orissa, 28 not out of 13 against Nagaland, and 32 not out of 24 balls against Saurashtra all contributed to Jammu and Kashmir's victories. Vivius Lakshman, the Sunrisers mentor, was looking for a middle order finisher for his franchisee. Milap, who was Lakshman's under 19 teammate many years ago, recommended Samad for the role. Then Pathan also backed him, saying he is a genuine talent, and that is when Sunrisers decided to buy him in the auctions.
And just like Abdul Samad, one other SRH player who was totally impressive in the last game against DC is T. Natarajan. He's a player who has been in the domestic circuit for a while, but I think this will be his breakthrough season. And what caught the eyes of everyone in that DC game was that he was constantly bowling Yorkers one after the other at will. He almost bowled 10 Yorkers out of the 12 balls in the later half of the game, and that took out the whole battle out of DC when they were chasing SRH's target. But this guy has a beautiful story behind him. He was a tennis ball champion in his own district in Salem in Tamil Nadu, and he rose from there. His mother was a daily wage earner, and he became popular in the tennis ball cricket tournaments. Then he got a chance in TNPL, where he proved his worth playing for Dindigul Dragons and Laika Vikings. But what caught the eye of IPL franchises was a performance in 2016 in TNPL when he was bowling against the likes of Washington Sundar and Avinav Mukund, both India players, in a super over, and he constantly bowled one Yorker after the other, gave away just 5 runs in that over. That's when people came to know about his Yorker bowling prowess. Next year in 2017, he was bought by Kings 11 Punjab for 3 crores. But he was expensive in 5 or 6 games that he played, and he didn't get many chance after that. Next year, his rate fell, his fees. He got picked by Sunrisers in 2018 for only 40 lakhs, and Muralidharan was the reason why he got a chance, because Murli had seen him in TNPL. Now what happened, he didn't get to play for 2 years, but then the big break came when in the last Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy he performed outstandingly for Tamil Nadu, and his figures were really brilliant. In 11 matches he took 13 wickets at an economy of just 5.84 and an average of 16, and he was used as a death bowler constantly. That's why Tamil Nadu went to the final, and that's when I think SRH start thinking about him as a first team bowler, because Siddharth Kaul was in the team too, Sandeep Sharma was in the team too, but he forced his way into this SRH team, and I'm damn sure that he will be playing the next match. But what 11s we are predicting for the both teams, you will see in predicted 11.
Well, I will bring in a few changes in the CSK 11. Well, my first change would be, see, the opening combination is not working. With Murli Vijay has to be dropped, has to be chopped. So I am going with Rituraj Gaikwad opening the innings with Shane Watson. At number 3, I would keep Rayudu, and then Faf, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Kedar Jadhav, Jadeja. And here, instead of Josh Hazelwood, I would bring in Dwayne Bravo, because with Bravo, his T20 death bowling is fantastic. I mean, a guy who has 500 T20 wickets, he cannot be sitting out, other than, of course, if he had injury. Then Sam Curran. I think Sam Curran is only one of those few players in CSK side who has looked like being part of IPL. And then, of course, we have got Piyush Chawla and Deepak Chahar. What is your team, Orgo?
Wow, Trisha, what a great selection of team, and I also agree to your selection because I have selected the exact players. I have also brought in Bravo and Rayudu, gotten out Vijay and Josh Hazelwood. And if I progress to the SRH team, I will make just one change. If Vijay Shankar is available, I will bring him in place of Priyam Garg. Priyam Garg hasn't got any chance, so he doesn't have any fault of his own. But I'll bring him because I'm bringing in. We are playing Kane Williamson instead of Nabi. There's one bowler short, and last match Abhishek Sharma was a little bit expensive at the death. So if I bring in Vijay Shankar, if he is fit, then he can be that bowling option plus the batting option. So that's the only change I'm making. Rest are very much same. I'm looking forward to how Rashid bowls against the right hand batsman of CSK because there are quite a lot in the top order and he's very good with his googlies. He proved that against DC. What about your team?
I too have the same team for Sunrisers, and my star player of the match would be Kane Williamson because the kind of form he has brought in and the middle order suits him really well. I think today again we'll see a fine innings from him. Who is your star player today?
Well, Trisha, my star player is none other than David Warner. I hope he gives a warning to CSK. And right now, I won't give you any warning. I will just request you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. And keep following us. For now, bye bye.